In this video, I'm going to show you how you can design your own business website using two tools, Claude and Webflow. We'll start by planning out the whole site in a conversation, writing out every single page, and then finally deploying it out to Webflow to build it. No coding and no designing experience necessary. By the end, you'll have a real professional site that you can launch. Before we jump into it though, I'd like you to think more about the pages that you'll need, what it should say, and what are some important details that you would like to have into your website. Having a basic idea of what you would like to include into your website will help Claude structure and design your whole site properly. The other item that you'll need is your business's brand style guide. This will include things like fonts, colors that your brand typically use. If you do not have one of those yet and you're just starting out in your business, that's fine. You can work with Claude to come up with a brand style guide. Now that you have those two things sorted, let's get into it. Alright, so I'm now in Claude Code and this is the prompt that I'm using right here. I'll include all the prompts that I'm using in this video in the description below so you can follow along and edit your prompt however you like based on your business name and needs. Before I press enter though, I want to point out some of the specific details that I provided in this prompt. First of all, you'll see that I provided the business title, what kind of business it is, who my customers are, and what I'm looking for. I said I want a simple, professional 4-page website, which includes the following pages: home, about, services, and contact. I asked Claude to give me a sitemap and for each page to list every section it should have in order from top to bottom. Now from here on, it's very generic, but if you have very specific information that you would like included, you can go ahead and add to this prompt and provide that information to Claude. I'm going to go ahead and press enter right now. Alright, so Claude ran the prompt and came back with the following. It provided me a site structure and then it also included some of the global elements that will be on every page. It also provided page-by-page sections. So on the home page, it shows in order what sections will be included. And then it also provided some specific details about what will go into some of those sections. It also provided some information that you would need. For example, for number 5, social proof, it's suggesting that you grab 2 to 3 short testimonials from the real restaurant owner clients, and that can include a quote, the owner's first name, a restaurant name, and optionally a photo or logo. And this is all demo information for the sake of this video, so you'll just want to make sure to edit it with your business details. And if I keep scrolling, it goes on for the about page, services page, contact page, and then finally, it also provided a suggestion to keep the primary call to action copy consistent across all pages, which is book a free 20-minute call. So now that we have the basic site structure, we're going to start asking Claude to write out every single page. I'm going to start out with the home page with this prompt right here. Using that sitemap, write the home page for Maple and Maine. Here are the details. I'm a former restaurant manager who got tired of watching owners drown in receipts, so I started doing their books for them. We handle monthly bookkeeping, payroll, and tax-ready reports. It goes on to explain who the customers are, the tone you would like the pages written with, and to lead every section with the benefit to the owner, not a feature. So give me a headline, a sub-headline, and 2 to 3 sentences of body for each section. Okay, so Claude is done writing out all the sections for the homepage. As you can see here, it gave me the navigation bar, the first section, which is the hero section, section 2, pain points strip, and section 3, how it works, and then finally section 4 with the services snapshot. And you can see some of the details that it included. So for example, in section 3, how it works, it's like getting your books off your plate takes about 20 minutes. We make the process simple on purpose because you're already busy enough. And obviously, if there's anything that you need updated, so for example, let's say you do not really like the headline in section 4, you can, type it here to Claude and say like, hey, can you update the headline in section 4 to something else, and then you can provide the sentence that you want. And now I'm going to keep going with the other 3 pages. So I'm going to use a similar prompt again, but this time this is going to be for the about page. And again, I am providing the details that I want in that page. So make sure to think ahead and plan and write out what exactly you would like your site to encompass and some of the information that you'll like included. That way you can integrate those and edit it into the prompts that I've provided. So here we have using that sitemap sitemap, write about page for Maple and Maine. Here are some of the details. So it goes into who the founder is, their experience, and then it goes on to say, I've worked with 40 plus independent restaurants. And then it also mentions what the company believes. And it also includes, again, the tone that you like everything written out with. And then again, end with write a headline, subheadline, and 2 to 3 sentences of body for each about page section. All right, so Claude is done writing the about page. I am not going to go through the details again, as that's pretty repetitive for each page. So I'm going to go ahead with the third prompt, which is for the services page. Using that sitemap, write the services page for Maple and Maine. We offer 3 services: monthly bookkeeping, payroll, and tax-ready reports. So you'll do something similar, just include some of the services that your business would provide in this page. And it's now done. As you can see here, it gave all the sections for the services page with information about each service. So we have monthly bookkeeping here, payroll, tax-ready reports, and then it also provided a pricing section, which is great, so that you're providing transparency to anyone that's interested in your business. And then a section for how it works. And then finally, also an FAQ section is given here. As you can see, some questions have been provided, and again, you can edit it however you like. And then last but not least, the closing call to action, which is ready to stop worrying about the back office, book a free 20-minute call, and then it's also reminding about the pricing, how there's no contracts and no surprises. And then it ends with the footer for the website page, which this would be consistent across all 4 pages. All right, so now I'm entering the prompt for the last page, which is the contact page. And here it says the main goal of this page is to get the owner to book a free 30-minute call, no pressure, no sales pitch, just a conversation about their books. And then some details were included, which is like the email, how often we would reply, and then provide a headline and subline for the page, 2 to 3 sentences explaining what happens on the call, what to expect, a short reassuring line for the owners who feel behind on their books, and clear labels for a simple contact form. All sections have been written out for me to review, and now this is where you'll just thoroughly review all the pages, all the sections, make sure everything reads and sounds how you like, and all the information provided is accurate. Once everything is finalized, now you can go into the design aspect of your website. As I mentioned before, if you already have an existing brand style guide, this is where you can start providing that kind of information to Claude. So you'll just say what hex colors to use for the color scheme, and then also provide what font your business uses. If you're just starting out and you're not very sure about the color palettes and stuff like that yet, this is a really cool website called Cooler, where you can basically generate different color palettes and see what you like best. So all you have to do is just press the space bar, and it keeps giving you different colors that can go together in a color scheme. And then let's say if there's one that you like for example, you like this muted olive right here, you can lock that and then keep pressing the space bar again, and it'll save that color and find other colors that could match that. This is great because then you can kind of get a visual and an idea of what kind of brand colors you would like. And again, you can keep locking as you go. So now we have 2 colors locked and 3 that are still, being experimented with. Now, once you have a bunch of colors that you like, you can basically take these hex codes right here and provide it to Claude. I already have the hex codes that I want and also the font, which, speaking of fonts, if you need font ideas, you can go to Google Fonts and you can browse a bunch of fonts there and see what you like. They have all kinds of fonts to pick from. One thing you can also do is ask Claude to provide you for a suggestion for a free Google font pairing to use with the color palette that you currently have. So as you can see here in this prompt, here is my color palette for Maple, Maine, and then it provides the hex codes. And then it says here, then give me free Google Fonts pairings for headings and body, exact sizes for H1, H2, body text, and a button style. Keep it friendly, modern, and easy to read on mobile. So I'm going to go ahead and press enter. And you can see here a pop-up shows up saying allow Claude to use README Visualize. That's normal. It's just basically asking you whether it can locally kind of build out and visualize pages for you so that you can look at. So I'm going to go ahead and press always allow. Okay, so Claude is done with the brand style guide. Again, if you have your own, you would just include all the color hex codes and fonts that your business currently uses. As I scroll here, you can see it includes the colors, the typography, what buttons would look like, and then also provides a live section preview of how the sections would look. So to me, this looks great. Again, this is just a demo for the sake of this video, but you would obviously tell Claude what you would need updates and fixes on. Maybe you do not like a specific font and you want it changed to a different one. You can just provide all of that in natural language. So now that we have the words, colors, and design, it is time for us to build the website. And in order for us to do that, we're going to be using Webflow, which is this website right here, and I'll link this in the description below. Webflow is a really good no-code app that I use personally for my own portfolio website. I really like it because it's very clean and structured, and it can also give you really awesome designs. I mean, look at this right here with their own page, which is made with Webflow. There's so many cool stuff that you can do, and that's what I really like about it compared to other tools on the market. It definitely acts as if you have your own developer, and there's all kinds of creative things that you can make compared to just like the basic drag and drop sections onto a page. In terms of pricing to create your website, it shows here on their page for a starter, which is just a basic Webflow domain. It's obviously free, but for a basic site that does not need a CMS, which you probably don't for your business website, and it comes with a custom domains, 300 static pages, that is $15 a month, and that is on the yearly plan. And then there's also a premium plan, which includes everything in basic plus Webflow CMS, 50 gigabytes of bandwidth, code components, site search, form file uploads, and well-known files. In your case, for most business website, which is just you would need one custom domain, the basic plan works for you to start. So you'll just go ahead and add plan and select login. If a custom domain is not necessary for you, you just want your business live on a website for free, then you can just use their start for free plan. Then your business would just be something like mapleandmain.webflow.io instead of just mapleandmain.com. Now go ahead and create an account right here. Once you log in, it'll look something like this. You'll see here that I have my portfolio page right here, but it's basically divided up in sections with a new project. Before we go back into Claude, I'm going to need you to go into your Webflow account, select new project, select site, and then blank site, and then name it the name of your business website. So I'm just going to call it Maple and Main, which is our demo project for today, and select create site. Why you need to do this is because you will want a blank site that Claude can connect to and then start designing and building. All right, so now that we have the blank site, I'm going to go back into Claude. What we're going to do is connect Claude and Webflow together so that Claude can basically use Webflow to build out the whole site. In order to connect Webflow to your Claude account, you're going to go to Customize right here, select Connectors, select the plus icon, browse connectors, and then type in Webflow. And then you're going to just press the pop-up that shows up right here. It shows Webflow MCP, and this is just Claude asking for access to your Webflow account. So I'm going to go ahead and press I recognize and trust this URL, continue. And then now it's asking me to log in to my Webflow account. So go ahead and do that. And now that we're back in Claude, I'm going to use this prompt right here. Using the sitemap and pages we just created, build out the Maple and Main website in Webflow. I've already created a blank site in Webflow called Maple and Main. So make sure to point out what the name of your project is. Create 4 pages, home, about, services, and contact. Build each page with the sections in order from that sitemap, and then drop in the copy we wrote for each one. Apply this design system throughout page, background, and then it gives the hex code, body text, headings in what color, and then it also includes what fonts to use. Build it mobile friendly. So I'm going to go ahead and press enter right now. And pop-ups like this will keep showing up. This is just asking for permissions for things that it can do in your Webflow account. So just keep selecting always allow. Another thing I also want to point out, you'll see here it says the Webflow designer needs to be open and active. Please click this link below to open the designer for your Maple and Main site. What it's telling you is just it needs to make sure this is always open in the browser so that Claude and Webflow can connect well and do all the things that it needs to do. Once you have it open in your browser, just make sure to tell Claude that you've already done that so that it knows, okay, the link is there. All right, so it's telling me because I'm in this free plan, I have a Webflow plan page limit. The free starter plan caps you at 2 static sites, which right now it is the home and about. So that's something good to keep in mind, that if you're going to want more pages than that, let's say 3 or 4, then you will need the starter plan that I mentioned earlier. Since this is a demo video, I'm just going to ask Claude to create the first 2 pages so you can see what it looks like. So I'm going to type just continue with the home and about page. Something I want to show you, you can see in real time what Claude is doing in Webflow. So in the pop-up that shows up with the MCP Bridge app that looks like this, you can see here real time what is being added into the script. As you can see here, it's now working on the About Me page. So it is currently blank. But if you just stay on this page long enough, you will eventually see some elements being added into the page. All right, so you can see here some of the elements have started coming in, which is really cool to see how Claude works real time. All right, so Claude is done designing the page. It kind of gives me a summary of what was created. And again, because I do not have the starter plan for this second demo site, I only have a starter plan for my portfolio website, which I showed you earlier. I am just using a free plan in this demo, which only gives me 2 pages. And then it's also pointing out right here, it says add Google Fonts to your site, go to Webflow site settings, custom code, and then enter the code here. It says here that in order to use custom fonts, you do need a paid Webflow plan. So that's another thing that you'll want to keep in mind if you're using the free plan. Without it, the site will fall back to the system sans serif font. So if you're okay with using the sans serif font on your free plan, then you have nothing else you need to do. But if you're on the paid plan and want to use the specific font that Claude gave you or that you would like, you would just want to make sure to follow these directions right here and add the code from here into the site settings section, custom code, and then copy and paste. So now that Claude is done, we're going to go into Webflow to see what was created. And this looks pretty good. So this is the home page right here. And you can see it included all of the stuff that we built, including the sitemap. It provided all the information that we had in Claude, and it split it up all into sections. And then it also has the About Me page, which you can find right here. So I'm going to go ahead and select About, and it provides the title we asked for, the body information, a place to put a photo of the owner, other sections that were included, what your job is, some insight into the company, what it does, and its values. You will notice the contact and book a free call. The contact page, we did not ended up using that because, as I mentioned, I only have a free plan, so I was only able to build 2 pages. However, if you went ahead with the starter plan, you should be able to proceed with all the extra pages that you need. The book a free call, that's going to be a pop-up that shows up that will basically allow the user to submit any kind of information they want to you about their needs. So now let's see what this looks like when it's published. So we're going to select publish right here, and then it says here staging, so maple and main.webflow.io, which is, if you have the free plan, again, this is going to be the Webflow free domain that you would use. And if you have the starter plan, then you would have a custom domain, and you can add your custom domain here. So I'm just going to go ahead and select publish to selected domain. Once it's published, you'll see an arrow right here, right by the link. So you'll select that arrow, and this is what the website looks like. So this is the home page right here. So you can scroll and see how everything looks like. And again, if there's something that does not look how you want it to, you would just ask Claude to make those updates for you using natural language. I'm going to go to the About page, and I noticed the About page is not working. So I'm going to go back into Claude to tell Claude what happened. And again, I want to show you everything. I want to be very transparent so that you know what to look out for and what to fix when stuff like this happens. So when I go back to Claude, I'm just going to say, I publish the site, but notice that the About page is not found. Can you fix it? All right, so Claude is done. It's saying the About page slug was set to untitled when it was created. Let me fix that now. It says fix. It's now set to About with a proper SEO title and description. So I'm going to go back to the page right now. This is the home page. And then when I select About, it's now working. As you can see here, there's no photo right here. So that's something you can also incorporate. You can upload a photo file to Claude and say, please include this photo into the About page section that has the founder's name, and please upload it into the green section. And then when I select contact page, you'll see it says page not found because, again, free plan only has a limit of 2 pages. And if I select book a free call, it does the same thing. Now I'm going to see whether with Claude I can go ahead and add a form for the book a free call and whether that's included in the free plan. So let's go ahead and try that right now in Claude. So this is the prompt that I'm entering for the book a free call button. Please create a simple form that users can submit. So I'm going to go ahead and press enter for that. All right, so it's done. Here and there, you'll notice I'm saying connected, connect yet, and connected. Basically, it got disconnected with Webflow. So you just want to make sure to always click the link that it gives you in order to connect back, and then just say connected so that you're letting Claude know, hey, I'm connected again, keep working. All right, here's what's done now for both pages. It says a form section was added above the footer for both pages. And then it's saying all call to action buttons are now anchoring to that book section. So clicking any of them smooth scrolls directly to the form. One thing to be aware of, Webflow's native form email notifications require the form to be built with Webflow's own form blocked element. The form as built will collect submissions on the published site, but to receive email alerts when someone fills it out, go to Webflow's site settings, forms, and connect an email address or integrate with a service like Zapier. So you just want to make sure to follow those instructions and include an email address that you use often, so that way you are notified when someone does submit the form. And this is what the website looks like right now. So if I scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see the section that it created, which includes the form information. And then if I go to the about page, also it's the same thing. At the bottom, you will see the book a free 30-minute call. And then if I select book a free call, no matter what page the user is on, it's going to smooth scroll to that section where they can fill out their information. Now, since I have this book a free call, I really don't need the contact page for now. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask Claude to remove that page. And this is what I'm saying. Please remove the contact button in the navigation bar. All right, so Claude got a little confused. It thought I wanted to get rid of the book a free call button. I wanted it to remove the contact button, so I had to clarify that. So I said, no, I mean the contact button, not the book a free call button. So it did that and reversed the error that it made. So I'm going to ask it to put the book a free call button back into the site. So I'm going to say, please place the book a free call button back on both pages that smooth scroll to the contact form section on each page. All right, so it's now done. It took out the contact page that was initially here in the navigation bar, and this is what it looks like. And the usual book a free call button smooth scrolls down to the bottom. Something I did notice though, so this button is on both pages, as you can see, but I realized the home page has it in two places, which I feel like is not necessary. So I'm going to go ahead and ask Claude to remove this one right here and just keep the one that's in the navigation bar. That way it's not two buttons that are pointing to the same place. All right, we are done. So this is what the site looks like. You'll notice the book a free call button that was initially here was removed since we didn't want two buttons pointing to the same place. And then here's the about page right here, and you can include a photo if you want. And if we scroll to the bottom, you'll find the book a free 30-minute call form right here. And don't forget to make sure to point to the email address that you would like this form submitted in the settings section with the instructions that Claude provided. And that's basically it. This is the site that Claude and Webflow made for you. And it's pretty awesome because all you have to do is just write in natural language what you want and don't want. And Claude and Webflow will do all the work for you. And that's it. That's how you can build a business website using Claude and Webflow. If you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing to my channel. I post weekly videos breaking down AI tools and concepts in plain English, which is especially helpful if you're just getting started. Also, make sure to comment below what you ended up building using Claude and Webflow, and what are some of the strengths that you found and also obstacles that you came across while building. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.